listening to. You are absolutely listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well. Thank you. Wow. Well, it's Friday night, and you are listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We're just waiting for our guests to call in. I will take care of that in just a moment. But in the meantime, if you're down the street, around the corner, somewhere across America, or somewhere around this world, we thank you for tuning in. Go tell a friend, contact a friend, however you reach out to touch a friend. Use your devices, holler across the fence, over the yard, somehow, but tell them that the George Espenlaub Show is now on live, and we are delighted to be here, and we thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to tune in. Our guest is, I've got a call on the other phone, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to run over here, we're going to put some music on, and I'm going to take care of this, and we will be right back.
I'm not here for you to blow your one and only chance.
That seems to be our Friday night theme song anymore. Self-Made Woman. Dave is going to be calling in here. I just talked to him a little bit real quick on the phone. There was a one-digit mistake in the phone number that he was to call in. That's no doubt my fault. But he'll be calling in here shortly. And I think we're going to have a great, great show. If you missed this afternoon show, and that's the first time we've ever done a Friday afternoon show. In fact, I think that's the first time we've ever done an afternoon show, period. But we just decided all of a sudden today that this afternoon... Oh, there he is. Okay. Dave?
Yes.
I apologize for that one-digit mistake.
Well, I've done it myself, so it's just what goes around comes around.
I guess so. Hey, would you say the number that you dialed was Visiting Angels or something?
Yes, so if you want Visiting Angels' phone number, just put a 3 as the last digit, and you got him.
Well, at least you got some angels, huh?
Yeah, and it's my industry, caregiving, so interesting.
It kind of coincides, right?
What city are you in?
Well, we're not in a city. We're in a town.
Town. I'm in a town, too.
Are you in a town?
Town of Passaic.
We are in the town of Laurel in the state of Delaware.
Oh, my gosh. I spoke at Wilmington, Delaware on my TEDx talk.
Well,
about less than a year ago.
Yeah, that's only about 87 miles up the road from us. They're on the top.
87 miles. Is Delaware that big?
Yeah. Yeah. They're on the top part of the state, and we're down here in slower, what they call slower, lower Delaware.
You don't even have an airport.
No, we don't. We don't have an airport. No.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day, but I don't know. I don't think I'll be around to see it when they build an airport. I keep telling people, if we could only get our subway system straightened out here in Laurel, we'd be in great shape. And they look at me like I got two heads. So, yeah, there's not much to our little town. Everybody knows just about everybody else. It's one of those situations. But it's an enjoyable place.
So, are you live right now?
Yes, we are live. We go live. Every show is live, and
you mean I am live right now as we speak?
Yes, you are live right now.
Oh, now here I thought you and I were having a private conversation.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. I'll put on my public persona.
All right. No, we started the show exactly at 8 o'clock, and I figured there was something wrong, and so we just dove in and put some music in there to fill up the gap, and then when you called, we are...
Well, I was going to call sooner, but you said that call in 5 minutes because I'm playing some music, so I waited 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I should have just stayed on the line.
You did.
All right, so what do you want to talk about today?
All right, you have an incredible story. Dave, the caregiver to caregivers.
All right.
I was all over your website this afternoon and yesterday and this afternoon.
Oh.
Wow. What a tremendous...
A lot of content there.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And it's so... What can I say? It's so inspirational. I watched the videos. I read everything. I went through every...
Did you really?
Yes, I went through every section of your website. My wife was out at the time when I was doing it, and when she came home, I said, "Man, you just got to go to this website. This is just an incredible story." And listen, before we go any further, Dave, I want to say this. I want to tip my hat, and I mean this from the depths of my heart. I want to tip my hat to you and your beautiful wife, because amongst all the storms and all the perplexities, you and your beautiful wife have inspired literally hundreds of thousands of people, and you inspired them to the point that they can keep on keeping on. And my brother, I commend you and I salute you for that, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Well, thank you. But, I can't take all the credit. God is really in charge, and He deals the cards, so to speak, and we have to play the hand that we're dealt. And sometimes, the hand doesn't look too good, and so you do your best, and you find out that in the end, He knew what He was doing, because we've affected so many more lives than if we would have just lived a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
So He's in charge. He opened the doors. We just walk through them. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh.
But you know what? Everyone's going through something. I'm not any. I'm just a normal guy who owns a gas station for 40 years. And 22 years ago, my wife has a headache. And it lasts for like 4 days. And it was the headache of her life. She was in so much pain she was joking around, but I don't think she was joking, to call Dr. Kevorkian to put her out of her misery. Mm. It was that bad. But then we called an ambulance because she started drooping her face on one side, and then half of her body started drooping in the couch she was laying in. And I didn't know too much about anything, but something inside of me said, she's having a stroke. So we called the ambulance. They came, and long story short, it was too late. She lost her speech, became paralyzed on the right side, and I had to learn how to become her caregiver. And it was the hardest thing I'd ever done up to that point, even after that point. And that's basically how it started. We grieved for about 2.5 years. The grief process. Anytime you suffer loss, you go through a grief process. First, it's denial. Oh my God, this isn't happening. Then there's bargaining. How can I get out of this? How can I negotiate out of this? And then there's when you realize you can't. Then there's anger. You're angry at everybody. And my wife's favorite emotion was anger. Man, she was angry because she lost her speech. She lost her body. She lost her car. She lost her house. We had to move because it was a 2-story house. She couldn't drive anymore. She had a beautiful 1.5-year-old granddaughter who was her joy, and the granddaughter now, wouldn't come around because Grandma was just different. She didn't want any part of her. I mean, she lost everything. And I was the guy around to take all of the heat. And it got so bad, I just didn't think I could make it. I wrote her this letter. I said, Charlene, why are you so mean to me? I mean, it's so hard being your husband, taking care of you 24/7, not feeling any crumbs of appreciation in return. I know it's hard on you, but you're making it even harder on me to care for you. I just don't think I can be with you anymore. I mean, I'll take care of you financially, but I just can't be with you. And, all I needed was some crumbs, but I wasn't even getting crumbs. And I read that letter over and over again, and I just realized I can't give this to her. So I just filed it away in my filing cabinet and went on in my depression and my loneliness and my grief. Till one day I found a business card in my pocket. I don't know how it got there, who gave it to me, but it was inviting me to a caregiver support group. And that's when everything changed for the better for me.
Wow.
I thought I'd give you a turn.
No. I listen. I'm all ears. When you found that business card, regardless of how it got there, how long was it from when this happened to you found that business card?
Well, that's a good question. Let me see. We were in the hospital for 6 weeks. I was basically living there. They were very kind to me. They let me sleep in the bed next door or next to her bed because it was a double room. And it was breaking all the rules, but, we seemed to get favor and privilege from the hospital staff because everybody, we were members of a church, and I mean, we had visitors coming in and out of that room every single day. The entire wall was just plastered from top to bottom, left to right, with cards, get well cards, cards of appreciation. We had the choir come in to sing her, uplifting songs. I mean, people just were in awe. The doctors and the nurses saying, "Oh my God," and they felt really bad for us because I didn't realize how serious it was. A stroke, and you only have a 3-hour window to get blood flowing to the brain again. Otherwise, you got brain damage. And I noticed that they were, just really melancholy. And I'm so sorry what happened. And me, I was kind of naive and like on a cloud, just believing that this was a little speed bump and we'll be fine. And she'll start talking again, and she'll start walking again. And what's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Well, after 6 weeks, we were discharged, and they sent us home with speech therapy and physical therapy, and I was still optimistic. Things are going to get better, and very, very optimistic. The glass is half full, not half empty. And then there was 6 weeks of physical therapy at a hospital where we went, outpatient. And I don't know, the weeks turned into months, and the months turned into years, and somewhere in there, I can't tell you exactly when, I realized that, what? She may not get any better than she's getting. She learned about a dozen words. Speech therapy didn't help much. She could walk with the help of a brace, but after a while, she's like the Queen of England, a fashion statement, and she didn't like the ugly shoes that she had to wear with this brace, so she decided to just forget it. I'm just going to go in a power chair, and that's how I'm going to be from now on. And so she's in her power chair, and she can communicate with her body language, basically through charades and Pictionary, and two games I hate, by the way, but I'm learning to love because I really suck at it. But I get about 80% of what she says. I mean, she's a very good communicator. We can go to a restaurant waiting for our table, and I'll be talking to some other family, and I hear her over there laughing. She has a very distinct and loud laugh, and I look over there, and she's just talking to this elderly guy, and they're laughing and slapping each other on the back, just having a good old time, and he doesn't know she can't talk because she's so good at body language and tonality and the sounds she makes. She can say yes and no. She can make a lot of sounds that aren't really words that we use, us normal people use. All of our words aren't really words, like, stuff like that. And we point and we touch, and our expression in our eyes and our eyebrows, or our mouth, etc. Well, she has this thing called aphasia. She knows what she wants to say, but her brain won't let her mouth remember how to form the words and the lips to say the words that she wants to say. In the beginning, she was just talking gibberish, and she heard what she was saying as real words, and I finally had to play a tape recorder back to her because she was getting angry, thinking we were playing a joke on her. And when she heard the gibberish that came out of her mouth on the tape recorder, she went into depression. She said, "Oh my God, what's happening to me?" And so, but after a while, she started acting her old self again. It took a couple of years. It seemed like forever. We moved, and she didn't want to move, she was kicking and screaming. It was 2 years that I do not even want to remember. And most of it, fortunately, is just a dim memory. But after a while, she realized, God's in control. We have very strong faith. And if I'm still alive, it means I'm not finished with what I'm supposed to do. So she reinvented herself. And she started doing everything she did before, and that was a lot. She was an interior decorator, a wedding coordinator. She was a gourmet cook. She did dinner parties. I mean, this woman was a cross between Martha Stewart and Wonder Woman, just a real type A personality. So she decided she's going to decorate the house. And I was excited because she was just depressed for many months. And so I said, great, I started seeing dollar signs, but I said it was worth it. And after we remodeled the house, then it was Christmas time. The first Christmas, we didn't do any decorations or anything. She's a Christmas nut. I mean, our shed is just full of Christmas decorations. And it was a very dark Christmas for us. And my daughter and I, just out of necessity. We just found, put up some stuff, but nothing like what she would have done. So the next Christmas, she went all out. She started decorating the house. She painted the house. She started inviting people over for dinner parties, and she's cooking like with one arm and one leg tied behind her back, and basically duct tape over her mouth. And she would go to the store and prepare the meal, go shopping for 5 hours, prepare the meal for 3 days. I mean, it took her longer, but she did it. And now she can do more than most normal people can do. And people are just amazed when they see her or talk to her. And many of them just leave in tears saying, oh, my gosh, this woman is amazing. What am I complaining about with my piddly little problems? And she just encourages people wherever she goes.
Yes, I was reading where you said when people meet her and they look at her in amazement, we're a bunch of whiners and complainers.
That's right.
And when I read that, I thought, oh my goodness, Espenlaub, you are a woo-woo. This lady has got the grit, and I mean, this girl is made of steel. I liked your video.
Yes.
When you were shopping, Ed.
Okay. I can't keep up with her. I mean, 5 hours in the supermarket, I'm dead after 3. And so I gotta play games to try to, now I just use the wheelchair at the supermarket, their little scooter, because I can't keep up with her. We went to the Ventura County Fair yesterday, and I brought her spare wheelchair because there's no way that I can walk all over the place because she's going like fast, and I can't keep up with her. I have arthritis in my feet, so I'm kind of slow, and I have my limits. So the two of us were in wheelchairs, and we were just having fun, buying all these gadgets that I didn't think we needed, that we didn't even know existed, but it was fun.
I laughed when I was watching the video when you was in the supermarket, and the expression on your face, and I thought, I wonder how many times I looked like that. Well, I guess that's a typical...
Yeah, this all started when I had hair. Well, I don't have any hair anymore.
I know exactly what you're saying. Dave, there was a statistic on your site that just blew me away. You said 30% of caregivers die before their loved ones, and 60% become sicker than the ones they care for. I mean,
do the math. How many does that leave of healthy caregivers?
Yeah, 10%.
10%.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm not in the hospital, and I'm not dead. So my goal is to keep those 30% from dying and those 60% out of the hospital. And it's not easy because, I have a website, and I've got a Facebook page with 35,000 fans or so. And a lot of the people, they'll argue with me. When I tell them that caregiving can be fun and, you can thrive. And a lot of people will just disagree, and they say, what fun is changing a diaper? And, and they just explain their terrible day that they had, and there's no way that this can be fun. And it's like I can't convince them that this too will pass, and that there's always something positive in a negative. And if you just give it enough time, there's always a silver lining around every cloud. And those are, believe it or not, those are the 30%. It's roughly the same number. 30% of caregivers I can't help. I cannot help because they're set in their ways. They're convinced, excuse me, that their loved one is more important than they are, so they're going to kill themselves trying to help them. Their oxygen mask is not going on first. And so, unfortunately, those are the ones that won't make it. If I can just convince them that their life is equally important as theirs, then maybe there's some hope, because the Bible says, do unto others as you do unto yourself. Love others as you love yourself. A lot of these people, they don't even love themselves. How in the world are they going to love their loved one?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're supposed to treat others better than you treat yourself, you know, when you're treating yourself so badly that you're not eating right, you're not sleeping right, you're isolating yourself, all your friends stay away because you're so negative, and you know, you feel like you have a life sentence in caregiver prison. It's no wonder that 30% of them die.
How did you become, or where did the idea come to start becoming a caregiver's caregiver?
Well, you know, I started going to the caregiver support group. Somebody must have given me a card when I was in the hospital or something. I don't know, but I found it, and so I figured, you know, whoever gave this to me, they probably thought I needed to go. So I figured I'm doing pretty bad, so I'm going to go. What have I got to lose, you know? So I went, and everything changed for me. You know, I met people there who were just like me, burned out caregivers. And I learned that if I didn't take care of me, I couldn't take care of my wife, Charlene. You know, the airlines tell us, put your oxygen mask on first before you help your loved one with their mask. Hello, what an amazing metaphor for all of life. Take care of you first, you know, not out of selfishness, but out of survival. But even, let's talk about that word selfish, because there are so many caregivers who are the opposite of selfish. They're selfless. And in order for them to survive, I did a TEDx talk in Wilmington, and it was entitled, Caregivers Need to Be Selfish in Order to Survive. And they loved that title because it was so, you know, shocking. And so the pendulum is so far one way, and caregivers now have to be selfish. And, you know, who wants to be selfish? You look up the word in the dictionary, and it's a bunch of adjectives of things you don't want to do. Be self-centered and self-absorbed, and, you know, a lot of negative things. But you know what? It's going to take being selfish for a selfless caregiver to just balance themselves. Because as hard as they try to be selfish, you know, they're not going to be like the selfish person who cares only about themselves. They're only going to bring the pendulum a little closer to center. And so after a while, when my wife started to respond to my positiveness, because, you know, negativity is contagious, but also is positivity. And so I was just ignoring her negative remarks and her anger. I would just leave the room, and sometimes that would upset her some more. But I just wanted to pass the message on to her that she was not going to wreck my day. She was not going to make me happy. She was not going to make me lose my joy and my peace. If you want to sit there and have a temper tantrum and scream at the top of your lungs because something upset you, well, go ahead, go to your room, and, you know, have a good cry, because it's not going to affect me. I'm going to either go watch television or something, and that sounds really mean, you know, of me. But you know what? This is war. It's either her life or my life, and you know, I'm not going to sacrifice my life for her life, because I was instructed through the caregiver support group that you have to put your needs first, and that's selfish. But you know what? Caregivers have to be selfish, or they won't survive. So I used their permission to be not mean, but just to put my needs first. And maybe she thought it was mean. Well, she definitely thought it was mean. But you know what? After a while, I wasn't rewarding bad behavior anymore, and she was realizing, look at him. You know, it's like unforgiveness, right? Mm-hmm. When you don't forgive someone who hurt you, it's like you're drinking poison. You're hoping the other person's going to die, and you look over there, and they're having a good old time. They don't know. They're not feeling any of the daggers that your eyes are shooting at them. You're the one who's getting cancer. You're the one who's getting ulcers. You're the one who's miserable, and they're fine. And it's the same way with my wife. I guess she started feeling that, you know what, I want to be like him. I want to have the peace that he has. I want to have the joy that he has. So she slowly started becoming her old self again. And our love eventually was rekindled. And so I learned so much from my caregiver support group and from my wife that I realized that there are so many other caregivers out there who are hurting and suffering, and they're going through pain, and they're feeling all alone. And, I made so many mistakes as a caregiver. I didn't want them to hurt anymore, and I didn't want them to give up like I almost gave up. So that's when I got the idea that I'm going to be Dave, the caregiver's caregiver. So I started a radio show on Blog Talk Radio at the time. It was a podcast. And I just started interviewing caregivers and caregiver experts and promoting that idea, put your needs first. And now I've done like over 500 shows, and now my show has gone to syndication, and now it's syndicated in all 50 states and 135 countries. And then I'm also a co-host on Neil Haley's show, which I believe you know, and I interview celebrity caregivers who are famous, in a lot of my talks, I talk about, what do all these people have in common? Henry Winkler, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Hillary Clinton, the Queen Latifah, and nobody can answer. So they're caregivers. They're all caregivers, because caregiving will touch your life no matter how much money you make, no matter what race you are, no matter what religion you are, no matter what part of the country you're in. Eventually, you are going to become a caregiver, or you're going to need a caregiver. One or the other. No escaping. And so now is the time to learn how to become a caregiver. Not after tragedy strikes and you can't even, you don't have time to scratch your head. So in addition to the radio show, I started writing a book. It was about our life. One arm, one leg, 100 words, overcoming unbelievable hardships. And then I started the website. And one thing led to another. I met a guy who taught me how to be on television, and so I've been on 25 morning shows, network affiliates all across the country, from Hawaii to Washington, D.C., and I shared my story. My wife was on 3 of them, and then I've spoken at Harvard like 3 times. I've spoken at the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. We had our picture on the Jumbotron, my wife and I. We spoke. I spoke at Coca-Cola and Mercedes-Benz and the New York Bar and West Point, and I mean, it's just amazing what God has done with my story, and I'm just helping caregivers stay alive. That's all. So that's how I got the idea. I just realized that if I could just tell people what not to do, what I did, and you shouldn't do, then maybe I got something to say.
And on your website, excuse me, you have a place where there's someone can go and become a member.
Yes.
How does
Let me
work?
talk about that.
Okay.
Because I've been counseling people all my life. Even as a teenager, all my friends would come to me and they'd say, this girl won't like me, and I said, well, of course they don't like you. You need to shower more. You need to comb your hair. You need to do. It seems like I had this wisdom from above, and I could solve my problems, the world's problems, and I loved hammocks all my life, and I would always especially get this wisdom when I lie on my hammock. And so about 1.5 years ago, I realized that I was being selfish, keeping all this wisdom to myself. So I decided to start a video series on Facebook and YouTube, and it's called Dave's Hammock Wisdom, 5 minutes of Dave's Hammock Wisdom. So I just did these little 5 minutes snippets, and I would talk about, how practical things. In fact, they're so practical that they're not just for caregivers. Anybody, even if you're not a caregiver, it's just valuable wisdom. So a few months ago when I was in Hawaii, I decided that this is so helpful, and I've got so many people commenting on it. People who I don't even know are watching them. My own sister, who, I don't even know if she likes me, but she's watching them. Just people, they become very popular. So I said, you know what, I need to put it in written form, because not everybody's on Facebook, not everybody's on YouTube. So I got a title of Dave's Hammock Wisdom, 99 Lessons Learned Living Life. So I went to Hawaii, bought a hammock, laid it between two palm trees, had my daughter take a picture of me right there on the beach, and that's on the cover. And so I'm taking the videos, I'm transposing them into written form, and I got 90. I was going to do 100, but someone says, no, you can't use 100. You got to either use 99 or 101. So I used 99. So I'm editing the book now. It's written, and I'm just editing it, to find all the grammatical errors and the typos and all of that stuff. So I'm excited to have that out. And then I went to go visit my mentor who filmed a documentary about his life and what he does and how he helps people get on television and on all these prestigious stages. And so I met a film producer there, and we were just talking. Hey, how you doing? My name's Dave, and what's your story? I told him my story. He says, oh, my God, that would make a great documentary. Well, I thought it would make a great reality show, so I started filming all the little things we do for the last 10 years, and I was trying to pitch it as a reality show. But in those days, reality shows had come to the point, past Survivor and stuff, where now they just wanted people having sex in jacuzzis and, hot and steamy stuff, and caregiving seemed pretty boring. So, but many people says, hey, not a reality show. It'd be a good documentary, but I was not interested because I wanted, at the time, a reality show. I just put it on the shelf. And so when he said it'd make a great reality show, I says, you know what? I've been told that before. And so we talked some more, and he says, I'd be interested in filming it. And so we met. We introduced each other to my wife and everything, and we signed the papers, and now we're in production of doing not a reality show, a documentary on our life together. And so he follows me around, and he brings his film crew, and so it's just like, oh my gosh, what's next?
I was touched when, as I was going through your entire website, and you mentioned it earlier in the show.
Well, let's say that's at caregiverdave.com, so that other people can also be touched.
Yes. When
Go on.
When you mentioned that your faith in God is what carried you through.
I don't know how anybody could be a caregiver without faith in God. It's my foundation that I walk on.
With your membership...
oh, yeah, I was going to tell you about that.
Yes.
I get distracted. Okay. So, getting back to Dave's Hammock Wisdom, so I realize, I've given away a lot of wisdom for free, and I've coached a lot of people for free, and I've counseled a lot of people for free. And I realized, do you know how many people have taken my advice of my precious pearls of wisdom that I just so graciously hand them on a silver platter? Try to guess what percentage of the people take the advice of Dave's wisdom.
They take your advice and they just go away? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying less than 10% of the people who I give advice to follow it.
I got you.
The rest of them, I'll see them again and say, hey, how you doing? Oh, no, well, it got worse. I said, well, did you do what I told you to do? No. I says, well, that's why it got worse, And so I realized that the reason why people ask your advice isn't because they want your advice. It's because they want your approval. You see, they've already made up their mind of what they're going to do. Now they're going around taking a poll, and they're saying, well, what would you do or whatever? And if you disagree with them, then they get upset with you. So I realize when you give people free advice, your advice is worth what they paid for it. If they didn't pay for it, then it's worthless, right?
Right.
So now I charge for coaching. I charge for counseling. I even charge for the website. It's a very small fee. I mean, anybody can afford it. It's not $97 every month. It's not $97 a year. It's $97 one time for the rest of your life, lifetime membership. And you get all these tools. You get 22 years of my wisdom. You get 60 minutes of a free coaching call, which is worth more than the $97. And so now, when people go to my website and they pay the $97, they're going to go there. It's like a doctor. You got a doctor appointment in the morning, right?
Right.
And you were out late last night doing who knows what. And then your little alarm clock rings at 7 in the morning telling you better get up or you're going to miss your doctor appointment. I'm telling you, if that doctor doesn't charge you for not showing up, you're not going because you're going to sleep. But if you remember that doctor is going to charge you $100 whether you show up or not, guess what? You're going to be there. And it's like that way with coaching. When you don't charge for coaching, they forget that they had a coaching call. They don't do the homework. They don't call in. Same with the website. More people visit the website now that they've got some skin in the game because they say, man, I paid for that thing. I better use it, right? How many gym memberships do you talk about? People buy a gym membership and they never use it, right?
Right.
But the more they pay for the membership, the more likely it is they're going to use it. And so that's the concept. So, yes, it's a membership website. It costs $97 to get full access to it. Now, if they can't afford it, they can still find my stuff all over the Internet. It'll just take you a long time, but it's all in one place. And you get the coaching call, and you get the tools and the resources, the videos, the blogs, the articles. I mean, you've been there. There's just so much content that anything you need, even if it's like you only have 3 minutes before you have a nervous breakdown because your loved one's throwing dirty diapers at you, you have just enough time to lock yourself in the bathroom and read maybe a care quote, of things that are on there. If you have 5 minutes, you should listen to Dave's Hammock Wisdom. If you have a little longer, you can read my books or watch a longer video or listen to the 1 hour radio show. We've got everything for everything that you need at when you need it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, it does. I'm sorry, but when you said you was going to somebody locked themselves in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just about lost it right there. But anyhow, they can get your books on your website. The whole schmear.
One-stop shopping.
Yeah,
all there.
The whole schmear is right there. The videos. It's just a tremendous place. So it's DaveTheCaregiver.com. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the short one is CaregiverDave.com. We got a shorter domain, and we're in the process of rebuilding the website to make it easier and simpler because it's grown. It started out small, and it's like remodeling your house. And we'll add this, we'll add that, and some people think that it can be a little more organized, and that's what we're doing right now. And we're even changing the domain name from Dave the Caregiver's Caregiver to CaregiverDave.com because the shorter the domain, the easier it is to remember.
Right. How many members do you have?
You're talking about on Facebook or what?
You said something, 35,000 on followers on Facebook? Yeah.
Yeah, we just started doing the membership very recently, so we don't have that many. We have maybe 40 or 50. But I haven't really been pushing it either because I'm in the middle of building the new website, and I want to wait until the new website's done before we launch, a Facebook campaign and send out letters to all of our 35,000 people. So we're just kind of, we're like the horse who's chomping at the bit, and he's at the Kentucky Derby. He's waiting for the bell to go off, and we're holding back until we get that website, the second website, finished. But anyone can go there now and join as well. And there's tons and tons and tons of tools and resources and wisdom on there. And then the coaching. You get 2 30-minute coaching calls absolutely free. Comes with the membership. And then you can even go there and get 2 free gifts right off the bat. We have a burnout quiz for those who don't know they're burned out. Are you a candidate for burnout quiz? It'll give you your score. AARP did it. And then you'll also get a audio soundtrack to help you sleep and help you stay asleep, because caregivers have trouble sleeping. And then you'll get a free download of my first book, One Arm, One Leg, 100 Words, Overcoming Unbelievable Hardships. It's a story about my wife and I and how we managed to go through 22 years of life together as caregiver and care receiver without killing each other. Absolutely free.
It's an incredible story, incredible website, and ladies and gentlemen, we put it up on our Espenlaub show page, and we'll keep announcing it throughout the rest of the show tonight before we go away. But Dave, thank you so much for your time. I apologize one more time for that wrong digit.
Oh, no problem.
But we made it through.
Caregivers make it through, or you're supposed to anyway.
That's right. Please give our regards to your beautiful wife.
I will.
Thank you.
So I assume your live show is also recorded where people can listen to it afterwards.
Yes. It ends up where we're at right now on Spreaker.com going live. We're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube.
Yeah, well, if Neil Haley has anything to do with it, you're all over the world.
Yeah, we're all over the place. Yes. So that's where we're at. That's where we've been.
Well,
so it's onward.
And thank Neil for setting up the interview. I appreciate it.
I'll do that. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time.
Right.
God bless you.
And just a reminder to all those caregivers out there, or if you know a caregiver, I like to say, buy them a membership. Caregivers will give you the shirt off the back, but they won't go buy a shirt.
Right.
So if you want to help a caregiver, you feel like, you're guilty, you wish you could help more, you wish you could give money to the caregiver, give them a break so they can go to Starbucks, get a coffee, or go get a massage, or go get their nails done. Or better yet, buy them a membership in our Caregiver Dave website. Just go to join and type in their name and their email, and it'll go to PayPal, and just pay it, and then let them know that you gave them the gift of life. You just might be saving their life. Heck, you might be saving your own life.
That's true. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so very, very much.
Again.
And I'll send that message on to Neil. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Incredible. I sure hope you enjoyed that. And there's much more. If you just go to his website and let me look at it again here real quick, I'll give it to you. Wow, what a story. While we're doing that, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. If you missed this afternoon show, please go back and listen to it. It was the first time ever that we did a Friday afternoon show. I don't know what it was. We just decided it was going to do an afternoon show, and we were going to target the ladies. So we called it something like Ladies Afternoon at the Farm. We had an entrepreneur on. Get it right, Espenlaub. We had an entrepreneur on, a lovely guest. We played lots of music and just had a great old time, and it was a great show this afternoon. So if you missed it, you can go back and listen to it again, download it, do whatever you want with it. Tell your friends and neighbors. And tonight, what a tremendous time. And I thank him for his time, because I know that he's a very busy man. Thank him for his time. We're going to come right back in just a moment. But while we're away,
You're a rebel, getting into trouble. You are kind of like a fire, like a fire, like a fire. Unpredictable, so original. You are never backing down, backing down, backing down. That's what I like about you. So dangerous, I get this rush when I'm with you. I go all in to lose or win. Build things up to knock 'em down. It's the way we keep our high, moving like a hurricane. There will come people say I'm going crazy for your baby. Don't know how you're making me feel this way. What can I say? That's what I like about you. So dangerous. I get this rush when I'm with you. I go all in to lose or win. Build things up to knock 'em down. It's the way we keep our high moving like a hurricane. There will come a time for when we can wash away our sins, settle down, but until then, we're like a
If you just fell in, or pushed in, stumbled in, or perhaps you just came in yourself, you're listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World, and we're delighted that you're here. What an incredible guest, what an incredible story. If you are interested, please go to this web address, caregiverdave.com. caregiverdave.com. It is a fascinating website, and like he said, we're either going to need some kind of care or we're going to be giving some kind of care to someone that needs care. Did you figure all that out? I am from the baby boom generation, those that were born shortly after or right before the Second World War ended, and right after. So we are becoming an older generation quick. So we're either going to need some kind of care or we're going to be giving someone some care. So go to that website. It's a fascinating website. There's a tremendous amount of material there. caregiverdave.com, and we appreciate the time that he put forth with us tonight. My, oh my. Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Another incredible guest. We're going to have Mr. Christopher Hall with us. And he is going to tell his story from living in the worst housing project to a life of accomplishment out of Mississippi, the great state of Mississippi. So he'll be with us on Monday night. It's a fascinating story. You don't want to miss it. We have so much coming down the pike, so many guests from so many walks of life, the musicians, the singers, the songwriters. It just goes on and on and on, and it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. I think that the technical difficulties that we faced the other night is over with. I better knock on wood as I tap on my head. I sure hope so. But anyways, we've had a tremendous day in broadcasting today. We're going to do that ladies' afternoon thing again. That was pretty. That was pretty much fun. Just light, loose, kick back, no pressure, no problems. We're going to do that again. I want to thank each and every one of you for hanging with us today. Before I go, let me ask you this. Have you ever been to a ring bomb party? You say, what's a ring bomb party? Well, here's how to find out. Go on Facebook, and you know that little search thingy up there? Just type in there this. Unicorn Chasin'. Unicorn Chasin'. CHASIN. With Maxine and Walter. Unicorn Chasin' with Maxine and Walter. That'll take you to their business page. And Maxine and Walter would be delighted to have you show up at their ring bomb party, which they do live on Facebook. They have fun. The people that come to watch has fun, and everyone leaves because they had fun. When you leave, you know that you had fun. So Maxine and Walter is inviting you to a ring bomb party. Unicorn Chasing, CHASIN, Unicorn Chasing with Maxine and Walter. They'll be delighted to have you, and I'm sure that you'll be glad that you went. So, join them for a ring bomb party. My, oh my, time just flies by when you're having fun. And so, we're going to get out of here because it's time to leave. And Charlie, Miss Ernestine, Harvey, and all the gang here at the Funny Farm, we thank you for tuning in, being with us, hanging with us. We thank you for those that listen live. We thank you for those that are going to tune in later. But we're here, there, everywhere. We're splattered all over the place. My good friend Neil Haley, who I spent several hours with yesterday morning. All right, big guy, you be careful going home. Give your love to my family, or to your family. Give my love to your family. I'll get it right. We had a great time together. And to all of our listeners, our followers, all of our supporters, thank you. Thank you from the depths of my heart. I mean that. My, oh my. I got to get out of here, go take a break, sit down, kick back, and just take a rest. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen, whether you're down the street, around the corner, across America, somewhere around this world, don't forget, until Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, this is me, George Espenlaub, and all the gang here at the Funny Farm. We wish you the very, very best. Be safe. Please don't drink and drive. It's a weekend, you know. Please don't drink and drive. People love you, so take care of yourself. Until then, if it's nighttime where you're at, have a good night and be careful. If it's daytime, you have a great day. But until then, I'll see you Monday night. Good Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, as one man once said. I'll see you Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, for another incredible guest. This is George Espenlaub saying God bless you. May he keep you right in the center of his hand. Good night, everybody.